Now let's learn more about what the French do. Having a disability should not be an obstacle to achieve one's dream. Inclusion of persons with disabilities has been made a national priority since President Macron entered in office in 2017. The French cabinet has a dedicated minister in charge of national policies in favor of people with disabilities. Each sub-region of France has a departmental house for PWD. They provide information, assistance, and support to people with disabilities and their families. The French state provides different support measures or grants to PWDs. The monthly allowance for adults with disabilities and the education allowance for child with disabilities for families, the mobility inclusion card for public transport, the disability compensation benefits, or the disability pension. To finance these policies, the state has created a fund. Companies with over 20 employees are compelled to employ at least 6% of workers with disabilities. Should they fail to meet this obligation, they must pay a fine to the fund. This fund finances professional integration of people with disabilities and pays for workplaces adaptation. Yet, some private foundations raise funds for research and support for people with disability. One of the world's largest fundraiser events is called Telethon and collects an average 75 million euros each year. The attempt to help people with disabilities to live as normal a life as possible and be included in everyday's life is key, and efforts have been placed in raising awareness for the need of inclusion. Each year, France organizes a Duo Day, which is an idea to pair a worker with a person with disability. Ministers, high-ranking officials, and CEOs participate and spend a day together with a volunteer with a disability. This creates links and contributes to a different vision of disability at the highest level. Several French movies starring actors with disabilities or disabled individuals telling stories have been huge box office successes. In 2011, French movie The Untouchables was the biggest hit of the decade, starring Omar Sy, a French actor born to a Senegalese dad and a Mauritanian mum, who is also the preferred personality of the French. An American version called The Upside starred American actor Kevin Hart. In 2024, France will host the Summer Olympic Games and the 17th edition of the Paralympic Games, which is the world's largest sporting event for athletes with disabilities. With 22 sports in competition, Paris 2024 will also be an opportunity to promote Paralympic sports and give people living with disabilities access to these sports. France hopes that this international event will change the global perspective of disability.